Hey everyone, it's Lily or Cool Rice Bunnies, and today I'm going to be talking about the glaze that I use for my polymer clay charms. This is mostly going to be kind of a review video and where you can get it and the pros and cons and whatnot. If you want a separate video on how I glaze my charms, which it's not that difficult and I'll explain a little bit later, but if you still want to see a video on how I glaze my charms, you can request that down below. But basically, I'm just going to be talking about the glaze that I use. The glaze that I use for my charms is basically this water-based gloss Varathane Polyurethane, and it's the interior formula, and like I said before, it is water-based and it is the gloss version. This is essentially the same exact product. It was just purchased off of a different website, and as you can see, it says Diamond Flecto Varathane Varnish Gloss, and I ordered this off of Polymer Clay Express. They are the same exact thing. This is just in the original packaging, and this was purchased off of a different website, so don't get confused on that. This glaze is not a glaze that is made for polymer clay. It is actually for floor finishes and, you know, that kind of stuff like wood sealants, but it works very well for polymer clay. It is made by the company Rust-Oleum, and the reason why this one says Diamond Flecto is because Flecto was referencing the old company's name, but now they are called Rust-Oleum. So if you find it and you come up with those two names, that's why. It is pretty watery. It's not thick at all like triple thick, and I think it's a little bit thinner than Sculpey Gloss Glaze. So there are two ways you can apply this onto your charms. You can either apply it by using a synthetic brush such as this one, or you could very easily just dip your charms into it and then let it drip off or wipe off the excess and let it dry that way. But it is a pretty thin formula, so you won't have a lot of trouble applying it because it's too thick. I've been using this glaze since September, and this was the first bottle that I purchased. So as you can see, I didn't even use all of this, and this is only 4 ounces of the glaze. So I've been using it for a long time, and I really like it. Just to show you guys how it looks, you can get your charms to be this shiny with about 3 coats of the glaze. And as you can see, it just gives a really nice professional looking shine. I don't know, and it just looks really nice. Kind of gives it like a plasticky look, and I think it's really nice. And also for like your more realistic charms, you can only do like 1 coat of the glaze or 2 coats of the glaze, and it won't be as shiny, but it still really shows off the texture that you put into your charms. So these charms here were given about 3 to 4 layers of the glaze, and then these only have about 1 or 2, so you can really change it up depending on what kind of look you want for your charms. And I also think this glaze does a wonderful job of really kind of making pearl clays look so much better. I think they just look so pretty once they've been glazed with this. There is also a semi-gloss version and a satin version, but as reviews have said online, the gloss version is obviously going to be the shiniest, and it also adheres better to the polymer clay than the other 2 versions. It will not make your charms or your polymer clay yellow over time because there is a UV protectant, and also it usually doesn't crack. I have never had a problem with my charms cracking with this glaze, and it also will not scratch off. I haven't had problems with it scratching off. If I put on 3 to 4 layers of it, it's on there, and I don't have any trouble like that. My charms never ever get sticky. It doesn't. It could be really hot and my charms will not get sticky, and that is really important to me because other glazes like triple thick tend to get sticky and then the charms get really dirty, and it's just a huge pain. So I really recommend this glaze. The only problem that I've really run into when using this glaze is that if I paint on my faces on my charms with acrylic paint, sometimes the glaze will make the black paint smear. I usually don't have a problem with any other color paint, but sometimes the black will smear. So this only happens when I'm brushing on the glaze. If I were to dip my charms in the glaze, I'm pretty sure the paint would never smear. But if I'm brushing the glaze on directly the charm, sometimes the paint will smear. And the way that I avoid that is I will dip my brush into the glaze, and then I'll just kind of pat it onto the black acrylic paint parts, and then I'll let that dry, and then I'll go over and brush on the glaze like so. But other than that, that's really the only con to this glaze that I found so far. One really important thing when purchasing kind of glazes like this, like polyurethanes, is the fact that you want it to be water-based. If it's water-based, it's probably going to be okay for you to use on your polymer clay charms. If you have glazes or, floor finishes that have oils in them and it's not water-based, you want to stay away from oil-based floor finishes. If there is oil in the floor finish, then that's going to cause your charms to react with the oils, with the polymer clay and whatnot, and then it's going to get sticky and just gross over time. So you want to stay away from oil-based. You want to look for water-based, and that's why I really recommend this glaze, because I think it's just perfect. I think this glaze dries in a pretty good amount of time. As you put on the thin layers of the glaze, it will be dry to the touch in about 5 to 10 minutes. And then you can go ahead and add your second layer, let it dry, and then your third layer. It can be a process, but I think it's well worth it. For people who just dunk their charms in the glaze and then hang it to dry, I think you only have to do that about 2 to 3 times, so maybe that'll be faster. But the glaze will dry to the touch in about 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can add another layer. But you should wait a full, I'd say, 24 hours for it to completely cure before packaging it away or putting it in your charm box. Here on the can it says no odor, and I think that's pretty true. There is a slight smell to it, but it is definitely not really that bothersome. It is not anywhere as strong as triple thick. I know triple thick has a really chemical smell to it, and I can't stand it. And I think, if anything, that this has kind of like a nice smell. Of course, you shouldn't be, directly smelling it, but it is pretty much no odor, so I really like that a lot. It's really easy for cleanup. This is just soap and water cleanup, so if you get it on your hands, you don't have to worry about that. Or if you get it on any surfaces, you can wash it off really quick, and that's really convenient and easy. As for the packaging goes, this is with a can, so you do have to take some extra steps when using this, but with this one that I ordered off of Polymer Clay Express, it has this little cap at the top and a little nozzle. I personally never use the nozzle ever. I just very simply unscrew the top. I take the lid off, and then I very simply just dip my brush in and I glaze my charms that way. If you were to get the canned version, all you really have to do is take a pair of pliers, open it, and then you can either pour this glaze in another jar, like a baby food jar or something like that, so that you're not working directly from the can, so you don't contaminate the rest of the glaze. Or else you can, just work straight from the glaze. It's really up to you, but afterwards you would just have to hammer on the lid, and then you're good to go for the rest of the time that you have it. As I said before, this one was purchased at polymerclayexpress.com. I will leave a link in the description box for where you can purchase it. It was listed for $5 for 4 ounces of the glaze, and with standard shipping and handling, the price will come to a total to about $9.40. So you can check down below. For international customers who do not live in the US, they do ship internationally. You just have to contact them, and then they will get back to you with the shipping price. But the website does ship internationally, so that's good. They do sell this at Lowe's, but when I went, they only had a whole gallon one, and I don't need that much. And it was around $45. So economically, if you work with a lot of polymer clay, you could get that, but I would never use that much glaze. So I just ordered this half-pint can from Amazon. It was around $10 and had about $5 shipping and handling, so the total was around $15 to $16. Again, I will leave the Amazon link in the description box for you to order this. I do not think they ship everywhere. I think they ship to some other countries other than the United States, but you have to check on the Amazon website. I do not know. I just know that they definitely ship to the United States. You can try to search which one's the better deal if you want to spend the about $10 for the 4 ounces or spend the $16 to $15 for the 8 ounces. That's your choice. If you want to go to Lowe's and get the whole gallon can for $45 or however much it is there, you can go do that. But whatever price works for you, I think it's worth it. Your charms will not get sticky. They come out shiny and professional looking, and I think it is just well worth your money. So that was basically my review for the Varathane Polyurethane water-based gloss varnish. You can check your home department stores for this. It's in the paint section. I know that they sell it at Lowe's, but it is not in this size, at least at my local Lowe's. Again, if you guys want me to do a video about how I specifically glaze my charms with this glaze, just request it in the description box and I'd be happy to do that for you guys. That is basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!